It's time to discuss each UFC fighter's signature move. From their most known signature move to their most underrated signature move. Let's get into this. For example, we are going to start with Darren Till. Darren Till's left hand. This is a classic one. We literally started calling him the left hand because this is like, what he repeats. But another one that's very underrated in Darren Till's arsenal is his snapping kick to the hand from Darren Till.
Snapping kick to the hand.
If you've seen his fight with Robert Whittaker, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is another underrated move from Darren Till. Dan Hardy had an aneurysm on commentary when he saw this one. This is a great one. And we also have the likes of Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker's signature move is the 1-2 high kick. It's the 1-2 high kick combo, but his underrated signature move is his peppermint patty ground and pound punch. That's right, when Robert Whittaker takes his opponents down and he lands these peppermint shots, these are unbelievable. We also have Petr Yan's Osotogari video game-like trip. That's right, Petr Yan has one of the most technical, high-level trips you will ever see in MMA, where he basically jumps behind his opponent, trips them. He just embarrasses people with these. Nobody else really does this in MMA. We've seen it from John Jones when he fought Stipe as well. But this is a really impressive move that Petr Yan does in basically every single one of his fights. Next up, we have Adesanya's question mark kick. Now, to be honest, Adesanya doesn't really have a signature move, right? But I don't know, man. Would you say the question mark kick? Because I'm kind of thinking about his closed eyes hooks. Adesanya's closed eyes hooks is what he used to knock out Robert Whittaker with. And you know what I'm talking about. When Adesanya leans back and he closes his eyes and he hopes and prays. When Adesanya says, don't do this, I'll aim and fire. Well, actually, sometimes he knocks people out and he ain't even looking at them. The closed eyes hooks of Adesanya, where he catches you with these and you're basically toast if he catches you with these. He caught Robert Whittaker with this in their first fight. I think this is just as much of one of his signature moves, the lean back closed eyes hooks, as his question mark kick would be. Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero's signature move, I would say, is his big gnarly overhand, but I would say his most underrated signature move are his coaches' ay-ay-ay's. When you hear Yoel Romero's coaches say, ay-ay-ay, you know that he's about to land that big gnarly overhand. Yoel Romero's coaches' ay-ay-ay's always indicate that something big is going to happen, whether that's a flying knee. It's always we got to have some urgency. Come on. Urgency. You know when Yoel Romero's been still for 3 minutes and you hear that he's about to hit you with one of those big gnarly overhands or flying knees. Hamza Chimaev, the double leg that nobody can stop. That is his signature move. Sean O'Malley. I'm going to say Sean O'Malley's signature move. He has a lot of different cool combinations, but in my opinion, it's the pump fake, straight right, pump fake, straight left. That's how he was able to rock Petr Yan. That's how he was able to rock Raulian Paiva. That's how he was able to get Eddie Wineland out of there. I think he feinted an uppercut as well. But it's this pump fake motion that he does, and then he immediately follows up with a right hand or a straight left. Oliveira, back take. All right, Oliveira is probably the best in the business when it comes to taking somebody's back. But another move on the feet, similar to Jailton Almeida, he does this in almost every single fight. In the intro to every single fight, he'll throw a jumping front kick to push his opponent's back to set the rhythm of a fight. Jan Blachowicz big, ugly low kick. Blachowicz has this big, ugly style. He's not one of these guys. It's not got the prettiest style, but Blachowicz has a really good low kick. It's got this big, ugly impact on it. And, we've seen him buckle around Magomed Ankalaev. We've seen him out leg kick and just buckle around Israel Adesanya. Jan Blachowicz has these Polish ashwood shins. And Magomed Ankalaev, we make fun of Magomed in the gym sometimes. He said, "Where's your buckle hat, brother? Brother, where's your buckle hat? Where's your Quaker Oats buckle hat?" we say, because of this fight. So let's get on to the next one. Alex Pereira, signature move is the calf kick. You guys already knew that one was coming. It was the calf kick. That is Pereira's #1 signature move. Let's get on to the next one. Jailton Almeida, front kick into a double leg. I'm joking. Well, not joking. It is his calf kick. That is one of his signature moves. But, yeah, of course, the other one is the left hook, okay? Pereira has probably the two most notable signature moves in MMA. Hardcore fans know that it's the left hook, but they would also mention the calf kick. Casual fans just know about the left hook, but Pereira's calf kick is insane. He hardly turns his hip over. It's like the least telegraphed kick in the game. He was able to use this to out-leg kick Jan Blachowicz, two best leg kickers in the heavier weight classes, but the left hook, Pereira's left hook, is his signature move. Let's get on to the next one. Henry Cejudo's Angry Man's right hand. I'm not just talking about a right hand. I'm not talking about a looping right, an overhand right, a big ugly one over the top. I'm talking about Henry Cejudo's Angry Man's right hand, which he spammed against Marlon Moraes. This is one of those where Henry Cejudo, when he's in a bit of a war, he has to grit down on the mouthpiece. Remember when people were talking about Cejudo as like this karate master, this like Wonder Boy-esque Matrix level striker, when in reality he was just a guy with a hard noggin, bit down on the mouthpiece and threw Angry Man right hands. He basically got himself into a tough fight with Marlon Moraes, and in order to win that fight, he gritted down on the mouthpiece, moved forward, and was just, chucking these grimacing right hands over and over and over again. That's Henry Cejudo's one of his signature moves. We don't see it that often, but they had Henry Cejudo had that extra chip on his shoulder. He had that smaller man's chip in that fight. Let's get on to the next one. Kamaru Usman's Sweet Pea Special. His jab, also known as the jab. This is Kamaru's signature move. Of course, you can maybe mention the foot stomp. Kamaru's got really good foot stomps as well. He was able to use those against Jorge Masvidal, but I would say his jab is probably his signature move on the feet. Next up, we have Volk. It was kind of tough to think about a signature move for Volk. When I think of Volk and his striking, I think of like the lead kick. Volkanovski has a really nice lead kick. Then I remembered, wait a second, we haven't seen this in a while, because the last time we saw Volk fight, he was just out there, he was flowing around, he was piecing up Ilia Topuria with the jab, you know what I mean? But I remembered, wait a second, Volk has this signature combination, and that's the straight right hand to cover the distance, immediately followed by a lead hook. But it's like a very straight-looking lead hook, almost looks like a jab, but that's basically his like number one combination. So that is Volkanovski's signature move. Ilia Topuria, I'm going to say it's the hooks, all right? Again, like this is just the punch that he's knocking people out with. Right hook knocked out Volkanovski with that. Left hook knocked out Max Holloway with that. Of course, he's got a really good straight right hand. But in general, I'm going to say it's the hooks. Ilia doesn't really have like a signature move, but I'll just go with the one where he's knocking people out with that. Colby Covington's signature move is his noogie. Colby Covington has that sort of like a jock bully style. And this is prime Colby that we're talking about. But when he would get guys on the ground, he would neck crank them. He would try to bulldog choke them. And most importantly, he would hit them with noogies. Colby was a real, wedgie, noogie type of guy in the cage. He used to do this to Robbie Lawler. And he was just not really out here hurting anyone. Remember, you're fighting Colby Covington. You're not going to get knocked out or anything, but he will hit you with one of these humiliating positions, and he'll be noogieing you. So, yeah, that's Colby Covington's former signature move. Just big brothering people on the ground. Figueiredo's Pokemon punch. This is a photo of what I'm talking about. Figueiredo has this like punch, it's weird, but he has more of a load up, a wind up than anyone else in MMA. And he'll literally like ball it up right by his hip, almost by his knee. He'll lean over and you'll know that it's coming for about 3 seconds, but he'll still hit you with it. I call it the Pokemon punch. It's like there's got to be something important in his hand, like a Pokemon ball. So I think that's Deiveson Figueiredo's signature move. Next up, we have Trevor Peek's standing hammer fist. All right, this is a hardcore fans one. Everyone knows this. If you're a hardcore fan, Trevor Peek is the standing hammer fist guy. Corey Sandhagen's parry. Sandhagen's got a nasty parry on him. And you can really tell, this is a perfect photo representation. Hand, rear hand right where it needs to be, tucked under the chin, and he's sort of peeking out from behind his defensive hand, and he's sort of calculating, is it safe to throw this parry? Is it safe to parry my opponent's hand? Now, this one actually might be a photo of him jabbing up Marlon Vera, but my point is Sandhagen's got a very good prodding parry. He kind of prods that lead hand out there and sort of parries your punch. That is Sandhagen's one of his signature move these days. Back in the day, Sandhagen's signature move was a flying knee. All right, back in the day when we had Warmonger, Corey Sandhagen, his signature move was a nasty flying knee right up the middle. He still hits that in almost every single fight. This is like his real signature move. Flying knee, knocked out Frankie Edgar with it. Has hurt a lot of people with this knee, so that is another one of his signature moves. Islam Makhachev, clinch knee. Won't see many flying knees like Khabib, but Makhachev is very crafty with his knees. I think he has the best clinch striking in MMA right now. There have been a lot of good clinch strikers in MMA history. We've had Anderson Silva, one of the nastiest clinch games ever. Demetrius Johnson, really good clinch game. But I think Islam Makhachev has a very underrated clinch game. Now, he's not knocking a lot of people out with these clinch exchanges, but he does mess a lot of people up with them. Like against Dustin Poirier, he's constantly grabbing Poirier's head, trying to knee him in the face, and he was able to hit him with a lot of those knees. Against Volkanovski, he was able to hit Volkanovski with a lot of knees to the face as well. So I'm going to say Makhachev has one of the best clinch knees in MMA right now. That is his signature move on the feet, in my opinion, because really not many other fighters do that in the lightweight division. You know what I mean? We don't see Poirier pulling off any clinch knees. We don't really see Gaethje doing that a whole lot. Islam Makhachev is like the clinch knee guy. Next up, we have Mateusz Gamrot's grimacing smudge. This is another really, not dangerous one, but very effective. Gamrot has a really good right hand as well. That's, in my opinion, his signature move on the feet, but you can't say he has two signature moves when this is 90% of his game, okay? He takes you down and he smudges you into the canvas, he smudges you into the fence, and you'll just stick there on the canvas like a piece of gum that's been stepped on. Mateusz Gamrot has a really good ability to do that to people. But we also have Shavkat Rakhmonov's, this is the entertaining one, the cool, calm, and collected smudge. So you see, the difference between Gamrot smudge and Shavkat smudge is Gamrot does it, fuck this guy. Nah, we don't like that, dude. He's grimacing, man. He's ruining the fight. When Shavkat does it, he's ice cold. You know, cool, calm, and collected, man. Oh, he's a bad man. And he's going for the submission. Hey, man, don't complain, right? Cool, calm, and collected smudge from Shavkat Rakhmonov. When Gamrot does it, it's harassment. When Shavkat does it, it's flirting, right? But listen, who is doing this more than him at welterweight? Does anyone clinch this much at welterweight without throwing clinching strikes? It'd be one thing if you were throwing clinching strikes. Outside of Jeff Neal, no one else really has this many moments of smudge in the welterweight division. I guess Magny. Magny is still probably number one. Magny has a really good clinch smudge game. But let's get on to the next one. Another signature move from Shavkat is his spinning wheel kick. Okay? Shavkat has a really good spinning wheel kick. Almost caught Ian Gary with it flush. I think he may have partially landed it on Gary, but we've seen him knock people out with this. He knocked out Carlson Harris with this. He basically throws this in every single fight. Shavkat's got an underrated, unorthodox striking game. JDM, hooks to the body. JDM's been melting a lot of people to the body over the years. And I think that is his signature move, those nasty body shots. JDM has like bricks in his hands. You don't want to get hit by that. He folds a lot of people up with these body shots. Next up, we have Dricus du Plessis' forward tumble. When Dricus basically comes bumbling down the middle and he has this bewildered look on his face, but man, he can land that all the time. It doesn't matter what he throws. He can throw anything, but he lands whatever he wants to land when he does this technique. He's used that to sort of pressure Adesanya. He's used that to try to get at Robert Whittaker. We saw it in this photo. He even missed. He overstepped his bounds. He overcalculated his mission against Brad Tavares in that photo. But it's when Dricus du Plessis just comes fumbling, tumbling down the middle. Sometimes you don't know what he's going to do, where he's going to go, but he's coming down the middle, and that's a lot of pop at the end of every single punch that he's throwing. So that is my favorite signature move. Next up, we have Josh Emmett and Josh Emmett's big meaty hook. We all know about this one, but another one of my favorite Josh Emmett signature moves is his big meaty one over the top. When Josh Emmett really freaking ducks his head down, really wants to get you with something, and he really puts one over on you and goes over the top with a big meaty one. You can kind of relate it to someone throwing a big sack of potatoes, right, as far as they can. Next up, we have Derek Lewis and his flyweight speed kick. That's right. You might think about the right hand of Derek Lewis. I don't think we've ever seen Derek Lewis throw a jab, by the way. I don't think we've ever seen a Derek Lewis jab. You'll see a right hand from Derek Lewis, and you think, okay, that's about it. Fifth round. If you get to a fifth round in a Derek Lewis fight, he will all of a sudden adopt the speed of a flyweight. I was going to come up with what's lighter than a fly. He'll adopt the speed of a particle, Derek Lewis, where he no longer has gravity weighing him down, and he'll hit you with like the fastest lightning spinning axe kick in the 5th round with the speed of a flyweight. We'll see that every single Derek Lewis fight. If you watch a Derek Lewis fight and it gets into those deep waters and he's gassed out, just know that's coming. All right, so let's get on to the next one. Gane's oblique kick. I think Gane has a really good oblique kick, right? That is one of his signature moves, but don't forget about Gane's back of the headshots. Gane's back of the headshots are another great signature move from Ciryl Gane. He's very crafty with these ones because he'll get to a point, all right, he'll start to overwhelm someone, he'll peek over at the ref. If the ref has a lapse of judgment for a second, maybe Mark Goddard is blowing his nose or something, Ciryl Gane will take advantage and he'll hit you with one of these crafty ones over the top. So, watch out. Next up, you have Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's signature move is a defensive one. I'm going to say it's the Philly shell. Even though it's not really a move, it's like a defensive move. However, Sean Strickland's offensive signature move, it's not his jab, even though he has a good jab. It's more his flimsy teep kick. A lot of fighters throw a jab. Not many fighters throw a teep kick as flimsy as the one that Sean Strickland is throwing your way if you happen to be fighting him in the octagon. The flimsy teep kick of Sean Strickland, no sting on it whatsoever, but it's effective. It keeps people from closing the distance. That is Sean Strickland's offensive signature move. Next up, we have Yuri Prohaska. Signature move. A lot of people don't really know Yuri's signature move. They would say the spinning elbow, but it's actually the looping, leaping, straight right hand. This is how he knocked out Ozdemir. This is how he was able to rock Alexander Rakic. Yuri's not one of these dynamite punchers like a Josh Emmett that just puts everything into his punches, but he has such a flow to this right hand. It has like a mid-air kind of loop to it as well, and he kind of leaps into it. You guys have seen it if you've seen Yuri fight, and there's just a ton of impact on this punch when it lands. It's like he can punch a hole through your face with the looping movement of this right hand. Anyway, guys, that is it for signature moves. Let me know if I missed any fighters in the comments and I didn't mention anyone else's signature move, but these are the ones that I could think of. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time.